Today I want to talk about the forgotten child of a lens. You know that one person in a family who's forgotten about but is actually doing really well in life? Well, the 35mm is the equivalent of that. People love the 50mm, you know, the beautiful looking person, and then the 24 to 70, which is like the person who can do everything. But sometimes, somehow the 35mm is always forgotten about. I'm guilty of it too. I've done that in the past. I've made videos about 50mm, 24 to 70, 20mm, ultra wide, just going everything but this basic focal length. And sometimes it really pays to go back to the basics. So let's talk about why the 35mm should be in your camera bag. So the first thing about the 35mm is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you'll get. Now hold that thought. I want to run an experiment on you. Wherever you're watching this, look away from the screen and find a general area to just look at. Done? Honestly, don't look at me or this YouTube video, just look up and I'll still be talking, so just listen to what I'm saying and find a general area to look in, right? Whether it's above, just putting your head out there, looking to the left, looking to the right, just find a general area to look in. Now, don't focus on a particular area, just look at the entire scene without focusing on a particular subject. What you're looking at is a 35mm equivalent, where your eyes aren't focused on anything, it's just a general area. Now, keep your eyes up there, don't look at the video, got it? Now try and focus in on a subject, whether it's, you know, a cup, a mug, a cushion, whatever it is, wherever you are, try and find something specific to focus on. Done? Now focus hard on that and you'll see how the remainder of the image that you're processing, your eyes are processing, is blurred out. That is equivalent to a 50mm. And so your eye's perception really changes depending on what you're focusing on. But for me, the 35mm, right, you can come back to the video now, the 35mm is basically the best WYSIWYG. To get a general view, WYSIWYG. And that brings me to the second point about this lens, and it's all about versatility and how versatile the 35mm focal length really is. It works fantastically when you're zoomed out and you're looking at that entire image like you were earlier, right? But not only that, you can then just take a few steps in, focus in on the subject and get a really clear, beautiful image of the subject with a little bit of depth in the image. And not only that, even though you take a slightly closer step to the subject, the image around you is still going to be visible. You're going to be able to give context in your images. Unlike taking a photo with a 50, where you're just focused on the subject, the 35 gives you a story really, because whilst you're focusing in on a subject, there is enough room because of the focal length for the viewer to see, hey, what else is going around in this image? And it helps tell a beautiful story even better. The third thing the 35mm will give your photos is a film-like look. The 35mm is one of the most used focal lengths in the film industry, right? Everyone uses it at some point in their movies, and that is one of the reasons why movies look so dreamy. You know, they have a subject matter, yet you can see the rest of the frame and they can tell a story beautifully. And you can do the same with a reasonably cheap 35mm Sony 1.8. And the reason the 35mm works is because it's pretty much a perfect lens. There's hardly any distortion, so you can just get a perfect image and WYSIWYG. You know, you're gonna get what you're looking at. So those are all the great things that I think a 35mm lens can give you if you want to experiment with it. I really do recommend that you try and use a 35mm. In this video, I want to talk about this particular 35mm, the Sony F1.8 for the full frame, and look how compact it is, right? All of the things I've mentioned apply to this lens. It's a sharp lens, it's a beautiful lens, it works well for photos and videos because it has a really fast focusing motor, unlike the 50mm, which is A, noisy, and B, very slow. Although much cheaper than this. This is a much better built quality than the 50mm, and the focusing motor is much better. So, you know, when you're doing your videography and you're moving from one subject to another, this camera isn't going to make a ton of noise. So on top of being sharp, hardly any distortion, it's very quiet, which helps when you're doing videos. Now, there are alternatives for the 35mm Prime, but you know, for the price, I don't think you can go wrong with a first-party lens. And the quality is, you know, unmatched, in my opinion. Of course, unless you go for the 1.4, which is way more expensive than this lens. But there you have it. The 35mm 1.8 Prime from Sony, which really, really should get you to go out there and take photos. I'm Sohail. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.